ancient Egyptian gods. Secrets behind their power whispers, beneath the sands, beneath the endless sands of Kemet, under skies dusted with gold and shadow, there are whispers still. Long before the first pharaoh wore a crown, long before the Nile carved its eternal path to the sea, there existed only the waters of none, deep, endless, and dreaming. From that silent sea rose the first mound of earth, a single breath against the void, and with it came Ra, the burning one, bearing the light of creation in his hands. The gods were not born as mortals are. They were woven from forces older than time, light, shadow, chaos, and wisdom. Each carried a secret at their heart, a hidden source of power guarded more fiercely than any treasure locked within a tomb. The people of ancient Egypt, those who tilled the fertile black soil, who raised their prayers to the heavens and built monuments taller than dreams. They knew that the gods walked among them, unseen but near, and they understood a deeper truth, that power was never simply given. It was seized, bargained for, tricked, stolen, or painfully earned. Not all who bore crowns understood these mysteries. Some sought brute force and crumbled to dust. Others, wise and patient, listened to the whispering sands and touched a deeper strength. The same strength that fueled the gods themselves. Now the sands stir once more. In the hush between heartbeats, when the sun dips low and the stars awake, the ancient tales rise again. The hidden names, the stolen secrets, the endless struggles between light and chaos. But first, do you believe in mythic destiny? Hit that like button, subscribe, and share this video if you crave more stories from the edge of legend. Like the video, comment your favorite Egyptian gods, subscribe, and hit the bell now. Let the waves part, the sky crack, and the silence speak. These are the true stories. These are the secrets behind the power of the gods, and they begin, as all things must, with the sun. Chapter 1. Ra, the sun's burning secret. In the beginning, when the world was but a breath trembling on the edge of existence, it was Ra who emerged first from the swirling waters of none. He rose alone, crowned in flame, his eyes like twin stars piercing the eternal darkness. In his right hand he held the Ankh, the breath of life, and in his left the was scepter, the rod of power. With a single word, a word known only to him, Ra called the first light into being. It was not merely the sun that he summoned, it was order itself, the sacred Maat, the balance between all things. And from that moment, the endless struggle between light and darkness began. Ra sailed the heavens in his golden boat, Manjet, each morning rising triumphantly from the eastern horizon, each evening sinking into the underworld to battle the forces that lurked there. Every night, the serpent of chaos, Apep, rose from the black waters to strike at him, seeking to devour the sun and plunge creation back into silence. And every night, Ra, armed with spells older than memory, fought back with fire and words of binding more potent than any blade. But Ra's true power did not lie in the brilliance of his light, nor in his victories over Apep. His greatest secret was hidden within himself, his true name. In the world of gods and men, names were not simple labels. A true name was the very essence of being. To know it was to hold absolute power over the one it belonged to. Ra guarded his secret name jealously, speaking it to no living soul. It was woven into his bones, sung into his blood, carved into the marrow of his spirit. Not even the gods who followed him, Shu of the air, Tefnut of moisture, Geb of the earth, Nut of the sky, not even they knew the hidden word that made Ra invincible. As the centuries flowed like the Nile's waters, Ra grew wise, but he also grew weary. Day after day he fought against the encroaching forces of night, and in the hidden chambers of the underworld he felt the creeping touch of time upon him. His bones ached with an ancient fatigue, his radiant flesh began to wither. He was still the lord of the sky, but the weight of immortality had begun to bow even his fiery shoulders, and in his exhaustion a vulnerability was born, a crack in the golden armor of his reign. It was then that Isis, the mistress of magic, watched with silent eyes. She knew what few dared to imagine, that even the sun itself could be outwitted if one were patient enough to listen to the murmurs of the world, and bold enough to steal its heart. Thus, the stage was set, not for a battle of strength, but for a contest of wits, one that would change the fate of the gods forever. Chapter 2. Isis, mistress of hidden knowledge. In the realm of the gods, power was revered, but wisdom was feared. And no deity, not even Ra himself, commanded wisdom like Isis. Isis, known as Aset to the people of Kemet, was born of Geb, the earth, and Nut, the sky. She breathed the mysteries of the stars, drank the secrets of the rivers, and spoke the forgotten languages of beasts and spirits alike. Where others sought dominion through strength, Isis wove spells with the threads of the unseen world, subtle, patient, unstoppable. She watched as Ra, ancient and luminous, grew frail with the passing eons. She saw his steps falter on the sacred paths, his voice sometimes tremble as he gave commands, and in her heart a plan blossomed, to rise above the gods, not through war, but through knowledge, by seizing the very word that birthed the sun. Isis knew that to hold Ra's secret name would be to command the forces of life and death themselves. It was a dangerous ambition, but she was no stranger to danger. Her magic was strong, woven from spells whispered by the earth and sky when they were newly born. One morning, as Ra walked upon the earth in the form of an old man, weary from his eternal voyage, Isis set her plan into motion. She gathered dust from the road, dust that had soaked in the sweat of Ra's ancient body, and mixed it with the venom of a sacred serpent. From this unholy blend, she shaped a serpent of magic, unseen by the gods, and placed it in Ra's path. As Ra moved, the serpent struck with blinding speed, sinking its fangs deep into the flesh of the divine king. A cry echoed across the worlds. A sound no mortal nor god had ever heard, the sound of Ra in pain. His body burned with fever, his limbs trembled. The poison, crafted by the mistress of magic herself, was not a simple venom. It was an ancient curse, a coil of magic that no healing could undo unless Ra revealed his innermost truth. Falling to the ground, Ra called upon the gods to heal him. One by one they came, Thoth the wise, Sekhmet the fierce, Bastet the gentle, but none could cleanse the wound. Only Isis, serene and watchful, stepped forward and knelt beside the fading sun. "O Ra, great one, Lord of light," she whispered, "if you would live, you must speak the word that lies hidden within you. Only by revealing your secret name to me will your life be restored." Ra hesitated. Even in agony, he knew the cost. To give his name was to surrender a part of his very being, but the venom coiled tighter around his heart. And so, with the last strength in his ancient body, Ra whispered his true name into the waiting ears of Isis. In that moment, Isis did not simply heal him, she remade him. Her magic flowed into his veins, driving out the serpent's curse. But the true victory was hers. In knowing Ra's secret, Isis rose higher than any god before her. From that day forward, Isis's power became limitless. She was the goddess who knew the words that shaped the world. She could command life and death, bind spirits, heal the sick, and call forth miracles with a whisper. Even Ra, Lord of the Sun, could no longer deny her might. Thus did Isis, through wisdom and patience, seize a power greater than strength, the power of hidden truth, and the heavens themselves shifted to honor her name. Chapter 3. Osiris. King of death and rebirth in the time when the world was still young and the gods walked openly among mortals, Osiris ruled the land of Egypt. He was a king unlike any before or after, wise, just and merciful. Under his hand, the Nile flowed richer, the harvests grew heavier, and peace blossomed like a lotus on the river's face. He taught the people how to till the earth, to shape laws, to honor the gods with offerings of grain and song. His very presence seemed to make the world brighter, fairer, more divine. Beside him stood Isis, his queen and sister, equal in power and majesty. Together they brought order to a land that had once been ruled by chaos, but even in paradise shadows grow. Set, brother to Osiris, lord of storms and deserts, looked upon the green fields and golden temples with jealousy and rage. He was a force of wildness, of destruction and rebellion, and he could not bear to live forever in the ordered world his brother had built. Thus Set, cunning and cruel, wove a plan to destroy Osiris. At a grand feast held in Osiris's honor, Set presented a magnificent chest, a coffer of rare woods and precious metals, so perfectly crafted that it seemed made by the gods themselves. Set announced that he would gift the chest to whomever it fit perfectly. One by one, the guests climbed into the chest, laughing and jesting, but none fit. Finally, at Set's urging, Osiris himself lay within the coffin. It was as if the chest had been made for him alone. The fit was perfect. Before Osiris could rise, Set and his followers slammed the lid shut, sealed it with molten lead, and hurled the chest into the Nile. The river carried the coffin away, far from the lands of Egypt, out into the endless seas. Without Osiris, the world began to wither. Crops failed, waters ran dry, and the people wept in despair. Isis, grief-stricken but unbroken, searched the ends of the earth for her lost king. Through forests, deserts, and foreign lands she wandered, never resting, her magic seeking his spirit. At last, she found him. His body, hidden within the heart of a great tree, grown around the coffin like a mother shielding her child. She brought him back to Egypt, hid him in the marshes of the Nile, and with her magic and her tears, breathed life into him once more, for a time. From their brief reunion was born a son, Horus, the falcon of the skies, destined to avenge his father. But Osiris could not remain among the living. Death had claimed him too deeply. Yet Osiris, beloved by the gods and by life itself, would not vanish into the darkness. Instead, he descended into the Duat, the unseen realm of the dead, and there he built a kingdom mightier than any upon the earth. Osiris became the first ruler of the afterlife, the judge of souls, the eternal king of the underworld. Through death he gained immortality greater than life could ever grant. Even now, when the sun sets and the stars awaken, the name of Osiris is spoken with reverence. He is not a god who vanished. He is a god who endures, reborn with every new soul that journeys into the hidden world. Thus Osiris taught the greatest secret of all, that death is not an end, but a gate, a mystery through which true kingship is born. Chapter 4. Set, the chaos that strengthens. In the deep red of the western desert, where the sandstorms scream like ancient spirits and the rocks are shattered by unseen hands, Set was born. Not in the lush embrace of the Nile's gentle banks, but in the wastelands where only the hardiest life clings. He was a god shaped by harshness, by isolation, by struggle. And so, from his first breath, chaos lived in his blood. Set, Lord of storms, master of violence, breaker of peace, would forever be known as the enemy of order. In the temples, priests whispered curses against him. In the tales of the people, he was the slayer of his brother Osiris, the usurper, the betrayer. Yet, hidden beneath the masks of villainy, a deeper truth stirred. Without Set, the world would have rotted into stillness. Without Set, the gods themselves would have crumbled beneath the weight of their own endless order. It was Set who lashed the skies with whips of lightning, tearing apart the suffocating silence of an unchanging heaven. It was Set who shattered old empires, allowing new ones to rise from the ruins. In his hands, chaos was not senseless destruction. It was the sharpening of life through trial and pain. He did not crave the peaceful lotus gardens or the soft songs sung at twilight by the Nile. He craved the raw, wild, beating heart of existence. The clash, the roar, the fall and rise again. Set was the necessary fury in the universe's blood. When he murdered Osiris, the gods wept. Isis mourned. Horus vowed vengeance. The world itself seemed to tilt into mourning. But death is not an end, and Set, in striking down the great king, set in motion forces greater than any had foreseen. In Osiris's fall, a new kingdom was born, the Duat, the underworld, the land where all souls would journey and be judged. Rebirth through death, order through chaos. In the great balance of Ma'at, the feather of truth weighed against the soul. There could be no judgment if there were no ending. Set, destroyer. Though he was, created the space where justice could exist. His storms shattered cities, yes. His violence toppled rulers. But in their place, the world learned to rebuild stronger, wiser. The Nile's flooding destroyed, and it also nourished. The desert devoured, and it also protected, keeping ancient secrets safe from invaders. Thus was Set's secret. Chaos was not the enemy of life. It was its dark twin, its secret guardian. He was the god who taught that nothing endures by being untouched. Only through struggle, loss and change could anything become strong enough to last beyond the ages. In the battle against Apep, the cosmic serpent of pure annihilation, it was Set, not Horus, not Osiris, not even Ra, who took up arms without hesitation. Night after night, as Ra sailed his sunboat through the underworld, it was Set who stood at the prow, spear in hand, fighting the unmaking of all things. He fought for a world that hated him. He bled for a cosmos that called him a monster, and still he fought, because in his heart, Set understood what few others did. Without challenge, there is no growth. Without death, there is no rebirth. Without chaos, there can be no cosmos. In the end, Set was never truly defeated. He was too deeply woven into the fabric of existence itself. Even when Horus rose as king, even when the temples sang songs of light and order, the storms still came. The sands still shifted, kingdoms still fell, and new ones rose from the dust. Set's laughter, rough and wild, still echoes in every thunderclap over the desert. His spirit stirs in every breaking wave, every crumbling mountain, every revolution that dares to upend the old ways. He is the reminder, eternal and necessary, that true power is not peace without end, but survival through change, strength, through chaos. In the roaring heart of the desert storm, Set's voice rises even now, whispering a secret the wise dare not forget. Break and be reforged, fall and rise anew. Only through the storm does the world truly live. Chapter 5. Horus. The heir who must endure. In the smoldering wake of Osiris's fall, a new flame flickered into life, small, fragile, yet unyielding. Horus, son of Isis. And Osiris was born not into peace, but into war. Before he could even walk, the winds of vengeance howled around him. He was a child shaped by mourning, by wrath, by the heavy crown of expectation. His father's death was not just a loss, it was a call to arms, echoing across the two lands of Egypt. But Horus would learn, soon and painfully, that destiny does not bend to rage alone. The first battles against Set were savage. Horus, young and burning with righteous fury, hurled himself at the god of chaos, with all the fury of a river breaking its banks. Set laughed. With every defeat, every wound, every humiliation, Horus was forced to shed the illusions of easy victory. Set was not just a monster to be slain, he was a force of nature, as deep and enduring as the desert itself. Victory would not come through a single triumph. Victory would demand something harder: endurance. The years dragged on. Battles raged and ebbed like the tide. Gods chose sides. Courts of the divine debated endlessly. Sometimes Horus was victorious, seizing lands, gaining followers. Other times, Set's brutal cunning forced him into retreat. Wounds scarred Horus's body. An eye torn from him in battle, leaving him half blind but not broken. Each scar became a reminder. Power was not glory. It was resilience. Each defeat taught him that true kingship was not a gift of birthright. It was earned through suffering, through endless trial, through the refusal to break when the world seemed set against him. There came a time when Horus stood alone in the court of the gods, his eye bandaged, his armor battered, his heart bleeding from countless betrayals. The gods hesitated. Some whispered that Horus was too young, too wounded. Others murmured that perhaps Set's strength made him a better king for chaotic times. But Horus, though weary, did not falter. He raised his head, lifted the crook and flail, symbols of rulership, and spoke words that echoed like thunder. I have known pain, I have known loss. I have stood at the edge of despair and did not fall. That is why I am king. In the end, it was not a single blow that won him the throne. It was not might that crowned him. It was the slow, grinding accumulation of struggle after struggle, the proof that he could endure what others could not. Horus became the ruler of Egypt, not because he was the strongest or the cleverest, but because he had suffered and survived, and in surviving had grown into something greater than he had been. He became the living embodiment of Ma'at, truth, balance, and justice, forged by the fires of war and grief. His restored eye, now a sacred symbol, the Eye of Horus, was not merely a relic of loss. It became a sigil of healing, protection, and power, earned through sacrifice. Even broken things, even wounded kings, could become greater than they were before. Under Horus's reign, Egypt flourished, temples rose, harvests fed millions, and the two lands were united under one steady hand. Yet in every triumph, Horus never forgot the battles, the losses, the scars hidden beneath his golden armor. He wore them like hidden crowns, reminders that true kingship was not about ruling from on high, but enduring with the people, sharing their burdens, protecting their dreams. In the silent sands where battles once raged, the wind still carries the memory of Horus's endurance, a soft, steady pulse beneath the roar of time. His secret, whispered into the bones of kings and warriors ever since. The worthiest crown is forged not in easy victory, but in the endless rising after every fall. The eternal powers within us, beneath the eternal gaze of the stars, the Nile winds onward, silver and endless. The sands whisper as they always have, secrets curling in the cool night air. The gods are silent now, their temples broken and half buried. The great stones crumble, the sacred names fade, but the powers they embodied, they have never left. They endure, unseen, woven into the breath of the world, stitched into the hearts of those who dare to listen. Ra's secret still burns in every sunrise, the understanding that creation is not a single act, but a daily triumph over darkness. In every artist who dares to make beauty from emptiness, in every soul who awakens with purpose after a night of despair, Ra's ancient words still hum, the first words of life. Isis's mastery lives in every seeker of hidden truths, every soul who refuses to accept what lies on the surface, in every mind that unravels a mystery, that sees deeper than appearances, that bends the world with will and wisdom. Isis's magic is reborn. Osiris's quiet reign continues wherever death is not an end, but a transformation. In every mourner who finds hope again, in every seed that dies to sprout anew, Osiris's promise unfolds, that life and death are not enemies, but partners in an endless dance. Set's ferocious truth rides every storm, every revolution, every crack of thunder that shatters the old to clear the way for the new. In every heart that dares to defy stagnation, to break and rebuild stronger, Set's spirit blazes. And Horus, steadfast Horus, walks with all who bear burdens too heavy to name, who endure failure, loss and betrayal, yet rise again and again. In every ruler who chooses justice over ease, every warrior who fights not for glory but for the good of others, Horus's endurance becomes a living flame. The powers of the gods were never chained to thrones of gold or temples of stone. They were always meant to live in the blood and breath of the world, hidden, waiting within us. Those who dare to seek them, who walk the old paths through knowledge, resilience, chaos, death and light, will find that the gods have not vanished. They are simply waiting, beneath the sands, beyond the stars, within the whispered dreams of humankind. And as long as the Nile flows, as long as the desert winds stir the dust of ancient kingdoms, the gods will watch, and the eternal powers will stir anew. If this story gripped your soul, if the roar of ancient gods still rings in your ears, then like, comment and share this legend with fellow seekers of myth and mystery. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and ring the bell so you never miss another tale from the edge of time.